So, welcome to episode 14. I think it's 14 of the Feeney Call. Tonight's guest will be Clayton Reed from the Peterborough Speedway Superstocks. We're going to talk to him about how he got into superstock racing and where he started in snowmobiles. Um, for this week's little bit of the week review, we only had mini stocks this week. Sorry, my phone just went off. We only had mini stocks this week. Got up there, sat through the pouring rain. Didn't even pull the car out of the trailer till after the rain was done. Pulled it out, torqued the wheels, went out on track, and started drying the track. We were one of the first cars out there drying the track. And we unfortunately, I was set the toe in the trailer the night before, and I wasn't able to get underneath the car enough to tighten the jam nut fully. So I was going to tell myself to do it at the track, but with the rain, I never got underneath the car, and I drove probably half an hour trying the track. Probably not that long. But yeah, unfortunately, we vibrated the toe out with not having the jam nuts tight and went out for the first heat, and it just wouldn't turn. Um, I put her to the bottom, hoping people would go around to the outside and I could just maintain my pace in the bottom. But nobody passed me until the last lap when Coleridge Finnemore from Sunset Speedway decided to take it to the top lane and realized nobody wanted to pass on the top side. And I ended up getting second that heat. I honestly don't know how. Because the car was way off pace. The second heat, we fixed the toe issues. We went out there and the car was way better. But now that we strung out a little bit more, we were all running pace. I was running second for most of the heat. Went to make a pass for the lead, and all of a sudden I got passed because I kind of got a little squirrely on the high line because I hadn't run it yet that night, so I hadn't really adjusted to it. Feature time, we started on the outside pole next to Aaron Kearns. Had a good start going. I missed the shift around the start finish line where I had to bobble to get into third gear, which is the first time I've missed it all year. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen. I'll sit in the car, maybe practice shift some more, see if I can get it more fluid. But I think it's because there's a pressure situation to get down in front because there's a good chance whoever got in front had a chance to win. I got probably to the halfway point, and Nolan Gould caught me, passed me, no problem. And we ended up finishing third, and overall a good night. We're now in the top 5 in points in mini stock, Peterborough Speedway, and 30 points out of the championship lead with 2 nights left to go, which I can't complain. Like for a car that I just go and screw around and have fun in, it's beneficial to the program because I don't care really much about the points. I race people hard, but I race them pretty respectfully, I feel, in that class. And yeah, like I said, the first time I run the low line most of this year was either I have issues with the car or it's just trying to not get freight trained on a start or something like that. But it is what it is, and this week we're going to be doing double duty. Hopefully we're not back to back, but I haven't looked at the new lineup yet because I don't think it's out when I'm recording this. So yeah, hopefully we'll have the cars sold here soon, and I'll start looking onto my next venture, which I'm not sure what it is yet. Might even take some years off. Who knows? But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna introduce you to our guest, Clayton Reed. Welcome to this week's episode of the Feeney Call is Clayton Reed, driver of the number 21R Superstock at Peterborough Speedway. We're going to give Clayton a few minutes here to introduce himself.
Hey, how are you tonight? Thanks for having me. My name's Clayton Reed. I'm new, I'm a rookie, and I'm having lots of fun.
So, Clayton, you're driving Superstocks on the oval this year, but you were driving, what was it, snowmobiles before this?
Yeah, I've dabbled in a bit of snowmobile drag racing, some snowmobile vintage ovals, and I've just always been around the sport, but I've always wanted to race stock cars.
So before we go into your stock car experience, why don't we talk some about the snowmobiling experience too? Because that's a unique perspective that you have compared to any other guests that we normally have.
Yeah, well, my family, they grew up racing snowmobiles, my dad, my mom. And then as I was coming into it as a young guy, I started in drag racing and then I built a couple vintage oval sleds just to try it out. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more challenging, I find, but it definitely gives me a little bit of a positive feedback for the feel of racing in a car.
So how big of a jump was the preparation of a sled to now prepping a car every week?
It's kind of close to the same. It's like you still got to do your nut and bolt checks, your safety checks, your setup every week, go through everything. Basically the same thing, and it all comes down to your maintenance.
So obviously there's a lot more setup you can do on a race car than a snowmobile because you're dealing with one track contacting power off and you have two tracks, basically in a car powering you up off the corner. And I feel like the front tires work a little better than skis.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. Because if you're off a little bit, those skis really push in the corner.
So what are some of the biggest learning curves with that beautiful I think it's a Camaro bodied car behind you?
Yeah, it's a Camaro body Chevelle chassis. The biggest thing for me was figuring out braking points into the corner. Like I've been around it my whole life. So you have the basic idea of what to do, but until you're actually in the car, you really don't have a clue.
Yeah, it's really easy for some people to be a grandstand driver. Be like, oh, if you just did this here, you'd be way faster. And then people hop in the car and it's like, yeah, that's not possible to do that there.
Yeah, no, it's totally not possible. Like I said, from the opening night to where I'm at now, I've made great strides and it's all in the corner. It's all braking. Where do you brake? How long do you brake? Do I need as much brake?
And that's another thing is you've had some pretty big names I've seen helping you in the pits, like Ruthless Robbie Sykes and the bully Dwayne Baker, I think was there one night. So are these guys that you like got around racing and like were helping them out and now that they're returning the favor or
Yeah, I helped Robbie Sykes for quite a while with his car, but it was actually Alan Ingalls that helped me out that one night at the track because I help him with his current team as well. And I have for the last 10 years or so.
was Dwayne just over there being a bully a little bit when he popped over? Was he talking to Robbie or
I think he was talking to Robbie when he was over.
so who are some of the biggest people you go to trying to get advice on help setting up the car and as you try to learn this new discipline of racing?
I talked to Alan Ingalls quite a bit, and one of my best friends, Darren Fairchild, he's been in it for a long time for setup, and he's really helped me come a long way. And of course, Robbie Sykes, I got to give him a shout out because if it wasn't for him helping me get my car ready and my trailer, I probably wouldn't be here yet this season.
So have you convinced Robbie there to bring in some like smoked brisket or something like that if he's like popping by one day or
It would be nice. We could probably get it from my sponsor.
well
That would
and
be a
it
great time.
and it looks like he has so much fun sitting there smoking meat every weekend and
Oh yeah,
it'd be a nice snack for everybody.
oh yeah, it's definitely a treat when I head down there on the weekends to watch a NASCAR race.
So who are some of the biggest drivers that you like driving with right now in the super stocks?
Actually, I'm having a real blast with you guys here. My last two nights out, I've got two top fives. I had you in my sights last week that I was out, but you can see my rookie status coming in as I lose focus as the race goes on, and then you would just slowly keep creeping away and creeping away.
So the funny thing about that is I still make a lot of mistakes in my car too. But luckily, the car that I have, the more mistakes you have, it seems a little easier to pick it back up. Like it's a little more forgiving. That's dialed
Yep.
into it. Um, I find that's a huge advantage of Peterborough for a position is if you can get a car that forgives mistakes instead of being on the edge and every mistake costs you two, three, four tenths a lap. It's sometimes better to be a tenth slower, but a little more forgiving.
For sure. I find my problem is as the race goes on, and I run better with the pack, but as soon as there's a gap opening up, I kind of lose focus and lose my points, and I just get slower on my entries.
Yeah, you kind of go into that conservative mode of like, all right, if you don't feel like you're gaining on somebody, but you're not losing to the person behind you, you just kind of get to the, oh, let's just hold a pretty wheel and wait for a caution. And unfortunately, it's a hard thing to break your mind out of because
It
like
is.
if you start pushing the car too hard and make a mistake, you understand that we're pushing to 99%, even being conservative. If we go to 101, we go around backwards.
Oh, totally. Like
And
that.
then,
I think it was my third night. I came out of two a little too wide and scrubbed the wall and rode it for a little bit on the outside and did quite a bit of damage. But thankfully, there was only 4 laps to go and was able to finish.
we'll have to teach you how to use that wall to your advantage sooner or later.
I don't want to go back on that wall after fixing it.
So the back straightaway wall, if you use it properly, you can actually slowly kick up the K rail of it and then use it coming into three as a run down, and you can build so much momentum on somebody. But
I could totally see that happening.
I may or may not have done it at Autumn Colors with one of my old cars before.
I don't know if I'd try it with your car you have now. It's a pretty stout car.
It is pretty stout, but I bet you Tom built it tough enough it could do it.
Yeah, I could
It's
see that.
so I'm gonna
He
get
knows what
into
he's doing.
oh, he definitely knows what he's doing. I'm gonna get into a couple of your fan questions that you have here, even though a
Sure.
bunch of them wanted to know about your beard. We're gonna leave that out of it.
I had to cut almost a foot off of it for my helmet
Well,
at the
if you
start of the season.
but see if you not see how Dad's is, it just sticks out the bottom.
Yeah, I couldn't get it not tangled in the clasps on the helmet. Every
We'll
time
just
I did it up, I'm like, nope, that's it.
we're just gonna cut like a little groove in it instead.
Yeah.
Why do
Right
you
where
have a
the chin strap
yeah?
goes.
Why do you have a D shape in your beard? Don't ask. All right, so Donovan Price, which a few people laughed at this question. Do you check your fuel before practice? And I'm going to want to know why there's a story behind this one.
Well, I don't check it before practice. I make sure it's full before I get to the track, and then I know I'm good. But a few years ago, I was helping Robbie Sykes, and he was running well in the feature, and all of a sudden he just died. And I realized I forgot to put gas in his car before the feature, and that was the end of the night. I couldn't get gas in it fast enough.
I feel like he's driving the car. He should have checked it though, right?
Well, it's kind of a two-way street, I think. Yeah, I might have been working on it, but should have been on the checklist, I guess.
Yeah. So Robbie Sykes wants to know if you prefer Gatorade or high quality water.
I actually like water better than Gatorade.
Do you find yourself drinking Gatorade on the hotter nights at the track, just trying to keep yourself from cramping up a little bit, or
I do a little bit. Like I usually bring two or three with me, but majority of the time I'm drinking water.
yeah, oddly enough, because
I'm
I'm
actually
drinking it
amazed
tonight.
at how hot it is. Pardon me?
Said oddly enough, I'm actually drinking water tonight, but I hardly ever drink water.
I've been trying to. Like I got a new job at the water depot, so I try to drink a lot more water than I ever used to.
That explains the question so much. So
Yeah.
is the water depot coming on to sponsor that beautiful 21R car soon, or
Yes, I just got to get the decals finished and they'll be going on the car as well.
so Brad Laval wants to know how do you like the Superstock division and what are some of your biggest challenges getting into racing?
Actually, super stock has always been my favorite class in Ontario. I love watching the super stocks. I love the bodies. I love the guys. It's challenging, and I think it's actually probably one of the best classes to watch as a fan.
I don't know, watching bone stocks at colors is entertaining.
Well, it is that is very entertaining as well, for sure.
So
I'm not going to deny that.
and then Danielle Patterson wants to know if you would ever do go to a dirt track race, like start doing dirt track racing?
I would like to try it once. I've been to I go to Merrittville Speedway every year in September or late August, and it looks like a lot of fun. I would
So
totally give it a time.
have you gone to that Eve of Destruction event that they have every year?
No, I haven't made it to that,
Okay,
but
so
I want to.
that looks like a blast. So they
Yeah.
have a bunch of enduros. They do the enduros first. Any car
Hmm.
that survives, then I think there's what's called the paper bag race. The driver gets a paper bag put over his helmet, and the passenger tells him where to go. Which,
Oh, that would be interesting.
especially if you have a wife, because you know she's going to be the one telling you where to go. So,
Exactly.
and then after that, they have, I think it was the chain race. They chain two cars, not front to back like they normally would. They chain them side by side. So you are
That would be
guaranteed,
difficult.
well, especially trying to pass, it means you're guaranteed four wide to make one pass.
Yeah.
And then they had the backwards race where every car had to go around in reverse gear, but the right way around the track.
Yes, I've
Um,
seen that one before.
yeah, they had the flagpole race and like a derby. And, like it just looked like so much fun. But I don't
Yeah.
have anyone
It'd be
crazy
worth
enough to try that with me.
it would be totally worth building an enduro just for that.
And the thing is, like, I was looking at some of these cars, they didn't even have roll cages. They have like one post bar. I
That's
have done
old school enduro racing.
I have done some stupid stuff in my time, but I feel like I want at least a halo if I'm chaining my car to somebody else's car, knowing we're probably going over.
Yeah, this day and age, it's kind of almost a given that it should be in there.
Especially if you're doing something crazy. And
Yes.
let's face it, if it's called Eve of Destruction, I feel like crazy is the biggest option you got.
I figure it's probably a little more than crazy if you're out there doing it, but it would be a blast.
So you're getting through your first season of Superstock. And what were some of your goals coming into the season? And like as you start hitting those targets, what have you moved your goals to be towards the end of the season or even say like autumn colors?
Well, the very first night was the very first time I'd ever been out on the track with cars. So I was pretty nervous the first night, but my goal was not to get lapped. That was my main goal the first night, and it didn't happen, thankfully. I didn't end up finishing the race because the car wasn't running properly and I pulled off. Now, as the season progressed, I've been slowly getting better and better. I've passed a couple cars now. And like I said earlier, I've got two top five finishes my last time out. And so I'm hoping by the end of the season, I can up that to a third place finish. Would be nice to finish out the season with a podium.
You got fifth last time? I thought you got sixth last time.
I got a fifth and a fourth my last two times out.
Man, I must have got
Pardon
fourth
me?
then. I must have got fourth then because I thought I got fifth last time out. I've been telling people I got fifth anyway.
Well, I've missed two nights
Yeah, maybe it
because
was
the last
maybe
one,
yeah, because you missed the last one out that we had, right?
yeah.
All right, that explains it. That explains how we both got fifth at the same time.
Yeah, the week before that I was there, you finished third ahead of me, and I was fourth that night.
Yeah,
I
it's
was gaining on you for about three laps,
oh, I'm not gonna lie, that car
and then I
was
fell
evil
apart.
that night. I took the car immediately to JBJ's the next morning and we put it on the scales and with sway bar in it, it read 43% cross. It was very evil to
Wow,
drive.
that is a major D wedge car.
Yeah, and my car doesn't like to be de-wedged. I had the left rear load bolt back completely out, and yeah, it was not fun. But so what are
No, that would not be fun to drive at all.
what are some of the small improvements you're making on the car as you're learning how to drive the car like better and better? Like, do you find that maybe the setup you had originally you have to kind of go back to now that you're driving it better, or like are you advancing the setup to go with your driving?
I've been advancing the setup every week as I'm driving and getting more comfortable with the car and figuring out more things that I need to be doing. I've been playing with the brake bias and playing with the track bar at the back a little bit. I've kept the springs pretty much the same as it's been and just playing with air pressures.
Yeah, I find these recap tires, they're a good tire, but I find they're very, very sensitive to like 1 or 2 PSI, where the
Hmm.
American racers last year were a little more forgiving. But I find on a long run, the tires stay under you better with these tires.
Yeah, I really enjoy these tires. I don't find them too bad at all. They seem to hold. Like if you drive her in there, it'll stick.
So with a little bit of experience, last year we had a lot more overall grip just on tires until they
Hmm.
got hot and greasy and then they get slick. Where these ones here, you have to finesse a little more, which
Yep.
you can see the back end of my car get freaking way too happy sometimes because last year in the middle of the corner, I just stomped the throttle and it would drive out. And
Yeah.
half my brain's like, just stomp the throttle, it'll drive out. And then all of a sudden, I'm trying to not make the right rear hit off the wall.
Yeah.
Especially,
Couple nights my car was the same, but like I said, I just make a couple adjustments and I'm trying to get that out of it so I can get on the gas a little earlier.
yeah, see, my dumbass started driving 2 cars this year, so basically ruined any chance I have for adjustments every night, other than like air
Yeah,
pressures.
that's true. But
But
having two cars is a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and you are definitely a lot lighter after sweating your butt off all night, especially every time I seem to drive double duty, it seems to be like 35 degrees that night.
I can't believe how hot it actually gets in there. I was
You
really, really surprised. I knew it was hot, but I didn't realize it was that hot.
So you think it's hot in the super stock, and they drive pretty good when you get them set up pretty good. Now,
Yeah.
I will let you borrow the mini stock for 20 laps, and you'll realize how lucky you are to freaking super stock. So the mini stock has no power steering, no, it's not set up to go around corners. It's still a road neon with a little bit of advanced turning and stuff like that, right? But you
Yeah.
have to muscle it, so you're sweating so bad in those cars. It's just honestly, I cool off in the super stock after racing a mini stock race.
Wow. Yeah, that would be totally warm if it's anything like my car.
And my dumbass just added a new window to the back of it, so it gets even hotter in there now.
Just put a little hole in it so you get some airflow through there.
I'm thinking about doing that in the front window.
Air conditioning.
That whole dirt car trick, just cut a little square in it so the dirt can go through it and you can still see.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your goals progressing on through the year? We kind of got the goals that you hit. Like if you run the autumn colors, are you hoping that if we have a B main, you make it straight to the A main, or like what are some of the goals that you want to hit and maybe going through your career in super stock?
For this year, I've been debating on whether I'm going to run autumn colors or not. I'm getting more confidence each week that I could probably compete for a while, anyways. Um, I've always wanted to run autumn colors, so it's a big option for me this year, and it would be a lot of fun. And I've definitely always wanted to run the colors, so I might just do it, but I'm not going to say for sure that I am.
So the biggest thing with the 50 lap or autumn colors is patience. A lot of guys will tear their stuff up, abuse their stuff up, try to stay on the lead lap. That's your biggest goal. But when you have, I don't know if we're going to be running on our tires or if they're going to be a mixed match of the American racers and the Towel City retreads. They've done that before in years past. But the biggest thing is our tires seem to stick with the times that we run. So if we're running a 15.0, we can run a 15.0 all race if we keep the tires under us without abusing them. Where those American
Yes, and that's what I
racers,
found with these. They're pretty consistent compared to American racers, I find.
yeah, I find they would drop like 4 or 5 tenths on a long green flag run. So like last year, you'd have Sean Chenoweth, I think was running 14.6s to 14.8s in that area colors. And then by the end of the race, he was running like 15.2s to the
Yeah.
point like I was able to keep up with him towards the end of the race. So,
Hmm. Well, by the time you're using them up, you've got no right rear left at the end of the race on those American racers.
well, especially the guys with the big built engines, right? Because they're using all that power and just eating the right rear tire up.
Yeah.
Do you have a built in that car? Or you got one of the 602s?
No, I've got a 602 in mine.
It seems to be better for the long run if you're on a tire program. I've seen some guys that'll start on fresh tires with a built engine, and then as the tires wear out, they'll drop down to a crate engine.
Hmm.
But so
I'm pretty happy with the 602. It seems to do everything I need it to do.
yeah, you can already pass Donovan. He's got that big monster built, and usually he's just in your way, right?
Yeah, that's right, Donovan.
So if he wants to take chirps at you online, we can take chirps on him back on the podcast.
Perfect.
and, and the best thing is, you guys have probably you, Mark Gordon, and Donovan have very three similar car bodies,
Yeah.
right? So right now, Mark and Miles are in their own league. Where
Oh, for sure.
I'm kind of stuck with still fixing damage from that big wreck we had a few weeks ago, trying to find all the bent pieces and et cetera, to find the
Yeah.
speed back in the car. And then I find so if I get back there, I can run with them. But right now, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm running back with you guys. Before I was up with those two guys.
Yep.
But I find I have so much fun pack racing, and that's what I like about the mini stock is like I can sit there and run and do crossovers and all that stuff. Like, so coming to the playoff season, obviously you're thinking about colors and stuff like that, but is there any other racetracks you'd like to start trying? Because like I know you've seen the post about Flamborough Speedway at the end of the year. Once we're done, they're still racing their normal races and stuff like that. Maybe letting us run on our retread tires to help fill their car count.
Yeah, I saw that. That would definitely be an option just because of the tires, if we're allowed to run the tires we're using. I like to run Sunset because I've lost a lot of help because the guys I help are at Sunset. So if I was there, we could pit together. But I enjoy Peterborough. I like it, and that's where I'm going to stay as a home track. But other tracks, like I'd really like to try Sauble and Flamborough and Varney. Actually, all the tracks. It wouldn't bother me. I like to try them all different.
Yeah, so last year running the Quick series, I got to try a few different tracks with that car, and it is really fun to sit there and experiment with like, all right, what works here, what works there, and um, it is kind of hard when you do like in a Quick setting instead of like a regular night. But I'm hoping so. If I don't sell my car by then, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do the two dates that Wilkie had posted. That was I think the 19th and 26th or something like that of September. If
Mm-hmm.
they'll let us, which I don't think they're going to say no if three of us come down with our tires and there's two of them with their tires. They're going to have the grip
Yeah,
advantage at the beginning, but I think we might actually equal it out towards the end.
yeah.
But
I'm
but
I'm really impressed with these tires after working with American racers over the years. Like I'm impressed with these ones.
and I find if you heat cycle them properly, that they don't split apart nearly as bad. I think where a lot of guys are having issues is they're buying tires at night and they're unable to get a heat cycle in them because they had, say, maybe a bad tire or a flat or etc.
Yeah,
So heat cycling is really good for these because it helps the glue kind of bind the whole tire together. Um,
I'm still on my original set that I bought at the start of the season that I practiced with before the season started, and
so
I still think they're getting better.
I had to put two right sides on because I had two cut downs in the accident. That's the only reason I changed them.
Yeah, I had one. Sorry, I replaced one on the right rear when I rubbed the back wall there. It bent my rim up pretty good and put a hole in my tire.
But so you like the super stocks and everything now. Do you see yourself
Yeah.
trying other classes down the road, like maybe jumping into a pro late model or maybe like a legend car or like is there stuff that like tickles your fancy there?
Legend cars. I would like to run a legend once, and I'm a big fan of the modifieds. Those are
Yeah.
probably the two classes that I would like to run the most,
Which
besides super stock.
which modified class would you try to do? Would you do the OMRS on a similar retread or would you like to go to the big Oscar sticky tire?
To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter to me. I just love the looks of the cars. I love the sounds of them, and I just think they put on a great show. And it'd be a
So
lot of fun to race with them.
I've always called modifieds the redneck version of an Indy car.
Yeah,
So they've always looked good to me. I love John Baker Jr.'s car when he had the almost like the front I don't want to call it like the roof line, the sail panels were like almost dead straight, but they were on a down angle just to please tech to make it technically legal.
yeah.
but I love the look of that car because it looks so badass. But
Yeah.
I feel like modifieds are the last division that you can kind of have free reign with the body rules that are kind of playing. Like super stocks have gone pretty generic in the bodies where you have 5-star racing bodies or you have what is it, the AR racing bodies. There's like
Yeah.
5 or 6 cars I think left in the province that are still running the metal bodies like what you have.
Yeah. I will I will always run a metal body just because I'm an old school kind of guy and I love the Camaros, the Monte Carlos, and that's what I'll run. And as long as the rules say I can run it, that's what I'm gonna run.
And to be honest, I like the metal bodies. I'm just a horrible metal fabricator. So for me, it's easier just to zip tie a panel back on. Like
Yeah.
I would love to see the class get back, and unfortunately, classes never go backwards.
No.
Um, I'd love to see it get back to when you seen Dan Price build a 57 Chevy body against guys with like, as there was like Chrysler 300s and all this other stuff. And like,
Yeah.
have you seen Tyler Junkin's Cadillac that he built?
No, I haven't.
So the last couple years, so he's been focusing on the late model program. He built an actual Cadillac CTS into a Thunder car. So
Nice.
it's LS motor and everything. Like
Oh wow.
it's not like he put a Cadillac on freaking like a Chevelle clip. He built an independent rear suspension, like everything. And he's slowly starting to figure out how to make it work, but it's just like I would really love to see new generation cars make it work where it's no longer because super stocks are almost getting to where limited late models used to be.
Oh, for sure they are. We're
So it,
we're one step under what they used to be with our overslungs. That's really the only difference.
well, back when limited late models were, they were an overslung chassis.
Yeah, yeah, way back in the day for sure.
So like they went back to like overslung late models, and then they went to a pro late model, which was underslung, and then it was kind of one of those things that they just naturally phased in the limiteds with the pros, and I feel like that's the same track we're on to now, where it's going to turn into pros will eventually be too much money, and they'll slowly fade out, and then we'll have a limited late model class, which will be super stock, and we'll go back to having like a street stock class, which I'm hoping will be like Cadillac CTSs, Camaros, freaking Chrysler 300s, freaking Dodge Chargers, and like all these new cars with. Unfortunately, you can't have a Dodge Demon and it was got like 800,000 fucking horsepower, but it'd be
Yeah.
cool. You
And
wouldn't even.
there's a ton of those cars out there. There's no reason why we probably couldn't down the road.
Well, and here's the thing: is with cars being so competitive nowadays, it's not like the 60s, 70s, and 80s where American cars for what we're doing were a lot more dominant. I bet you could put in some BMWs and stuff like that and some like naturally aspirated versus naturally aspirated. Even I bet you those V6s would have no problem keeping up if we like had a good weight rule kind of going. I mean,
Oh, I would think so. Well, like you look at the Canadian vintage modifieds, and some of those guys still run straight sixes like they used to run in the six-cylinder class back in the early '80s.
I those straight sixes make some big power though.
Oh, for sure they do.
Have you ever
There's
heard
lots of
one of
things
those
you
go
can do
by?
with them. Oh yeah, my dad, he raced six cylinders back in the day.
So I actually have a friend with Jomo Media that does all their media and stuff like that. He'll send me videos once in a while, and all of a sudden it's like, how much power? Because all you hear, it sounds like an F1 car going by. It's at like
Oh yeah, they
6,000. I'm like, imagine if they turned the wick up and took the chip off that thing, how fast that thing would spin up.
yeah, you can make a lot of power out of those six cylinders.
So we're slowly running out of time here. So I'm going to give you a few minutes here to thank your sponsors and stuff like that for the season and tell the people where people can find you on social media and etc.
Perfect. Yeah, I got to give a huge shout out to my sponsors. If it wasn't for them, none of this would be possible. Or my wife, Kathy Stewart. But yeah, I'd like to thank Stainer Meat Packers, Z3 Developments Inc., Dave Wiggins Custom Exhaust, Black Barn Golf Cars, Edma Sneaka Contracting, RNS Construction, the Water Depot Aurelia, and yeah, Thanks for all your support, and hopefully we can continue it next year and get a few podium finishes.
Well, we still have what, 2 or 3 more races in the Superstock left?
I think we have this weekend and the second for me because I'm away on the 26th again, unfortunately. So I'll miss another night. So only 2 races left for me.
I don't know. Maybe you should put Robbie in that car and let him dial it in for you.
I offered it to him already a couple weeks ago when I missed.
Yeah, but now I'm calling him out, so he can't just be like, "Oh, now, like at least 45 people are gonna see this," and that's 45 people putting pressure on Robbie Sykes.
Exactly.
So, where can people find you on social media? And do you have any like merchandise or anything they can buy?
This year, right now, it's just my normal Facebook page, Clayton Reed. Next year, I'll have a dedicated page for sure, and hopefully get into some more merchandise for next year and get a little more set up for everyone.
All right. So, if you need to get hooked up with the merchandise girl and you don't have one, I have one with tailored to you. She was actually supposed to help guest co-host soon because she's looking at getting into her own podcast. So that's going to get her some experience here. But
Excellent.
she's the one that does all my tumblers. She's getting shirts and everything ready for me and stuff like that. But we'll try to get you set up,
Awesome. No,
and,
I appreciate it.
and we'll hopefully see you at the colors. If not, hopefully you're there at least partying.
Oh, I will be there. I haven't missed one in years.
All right. Have yourself a good night, buddy.
All right, you too, and I'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday. So that was our guest this week of Clayton Reed. Hopefully you got to learn a little bit more about him. Next week, our guest is going to be Ollie Ferguson to be the last guest of Rookie Month. Hopefully, you guys like this little bit of a feature of some maybe newer drivers you haven't heard of, or ones you've been curious about their progress and everything like that. But I want to thank each and every one of them for joining, and Ollie for joining me next week. One thing I want to talk to is autumn colors. We're getting close to the end of the season at Peterborough, 3 more weeks to go. And I am running the lap sponsors for the not the limited lates, the pro lates, I guess you call them now. The 167 lap electric 167, the Superstock 50 lapper, the Melissa Bullen Memorial 67 lap mini stock race, and the 40 lap bone stock race. So I'm going to give a little bit of attention here to some of the people. Crystal Hodgins or Hod. Yeah, I'm horrible with names, so this is going to be butchery here at its finest. Crystal Hodgins doing a 1 lap per race sponsorship. Basically, she got lap 8, position 8 for all 4 races. Jomo Media and Promotion and the True North Racing podcast got the 1 lap per race promo package. The Ballyduff Motor Coliseum, if you know, you know. I don't need to explain any more than that. They've got a 1 lap per race package. We are sponsoring lap 38 ourselves. Then we have the lap 73 in the pro lates is donated in the memory of Alan Lankin, who just passed away this week or last week, I guess, when this comes out. Unfortunately, we lost Alan, who's been a great advocate for Sunset and was an announcer and racer there. Let me go through here to some of the other events. Sorry, I gotta scroll on my Facebook here and try to figure out all these. Holy crap. I post way too much stuff. All right, so bone stocks. Lakeside Mobile Tire has put up a $500 bonus into the bone stock purse. Some of these you're going to hear probably on repeat because they've sponsored multiple laps in multiple races. But for sponsoring, I feel they deserve a little bit of attention. So Ellis Industries have donated last place on lap 2 in the bone stocks. Thorn Racing has done position 4 on lap 4 and position 6 on lap 6 in the bone stocks. Well, these are all bone stocks. I'll switch them. So I'm going to say bone stocks. Hodgson's family is doing position 8 in the bone stocks. Horn Racing is lap 9. Kent Missions is 10th place on lap 10. BSE yard maintenance, position 13. Lap 13. Spencer Riddell, position 17, lap 17. Grassroots Racing is doing position 2, lap 20. Stanley Motorsports doing position 2 and 3, doubling up on the sponsorship. So they're both getting $20 each out of that on lap 23. Cam Thompson's doing position 3 on lap 28. The True North Racing Podcast on lap 32. And then, like I said, the Ballyduff Motor Coliseum and ourselves at the Feeney Call. Going on to the mini stock race, 67 laps. Ellis Industries has done lap 6 on position 17. Hodgson Family position 8. BSE Yard Maintenance position 13 on lap 13. Joma Media on 32. Ballyduff Motor Coliseum 37. The Feeney Call 38. That's so far all on the mini stocks. I know there's a big mini stock race for the Alan Lankin. I don't know why I always say Larkin. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize for mispronouncing that 1,000 times. But it's Alan Lankin Memorial now. I'm assuming they'd be changing it to Memorial now that he's unfortunately passed away. For the super stocks, it's the same 4 contenders: Hodgson Family with Crystal Hodgins, True North Racing Podcast, the Ballyduff Motor Coliseum, and the Feeney Call. And I already did the pro late models. So what I'm doing by running this is, let's see if I can find the thing here. Oh, Lakeside Mobile Tire is also doing an extra $500 in the mini stock purse as well. I forgot to mention that. So what I'm doing here is also to run with the promotion of trying to increase lap sponsorships. I am doing a giveaway. I'm keeping track of on my phone here. So I am personally donating a pit pass to the person that's going to win this draw if we can sell 70 of these 1 lap packages, which means all the races will be sold out other than the Electricity 167. So yeah, and that means the bone stocks will probably be almost double sold. So if we sell 70 of those at the $140 for 1 lap per race, all this money is going directly to the drivers. I'm not getting any of it. Track's not keeping any of it. It's all right to the drivers. I'm doing the 1 pit pass. Personally, I have been talking with the track and they're seeing what they're going to donate to this package as well. And I've started a grab bag. So the grab bag so far consists of one of my bfee Motorsports tumblers, Feeney Call sticker. Lakeside Mobile Tire has donated a hat and a lanyard. I have a few racers that are seeing if they can get a couple of things for merchandise that they can hand in. If you watch this and you want to add to the donation bag, like of a shirt or whatever like that, to say thank you to some of these sponsors that are doing it. If I don't get the 70, I'll still do the draw for all the people that did the 1 lap packages for the grab bag. I'll just not take the pit pass into it because I'm spending this out of my own money. Plus, I've sponsored laps and stuff like that, trying to help out the drivers. And if we don't see some support from sponsors, I can't just pay for a pit pass out of a 1 in whatever chance. I am putting a little bit of pressure on selling this. So yeah, but yeah, if we get this grab bag to the point where I'm trying to keep a approximate value of it. If we get it over $500 of approximated value of in the grab bag, I'll probably split it up into 2 grab bags or see how big it grows. So that's with the autumn colors. We have quite a few point championships that are close at Peterborough. The truck series as of today, or when this releases, is tied between Kyle Gordon and Chad Strawn. The mini stocks, there are 6 cars within 33 points with 2 races left. The super stocks, there's 3 cars within 35. I haven't really checked the bone stocks and stuff like that. So last podcast, I kind of ranted and raved about how can we get cars at Flamborough and stuff like that. And it's already rearing ahead of they're canceling the superstock class for probably the remainder of the year. At least that's what the post looked like. they just can't justify putting on a 1 or 2 car show. Obviously, when Peterborough and Sunset are running, we can't go down and help them and stuff like that. I talked to Roy Wilkie about possibly running our Peterborough tires, and we can just head down on nights we're off. And he's okay with it, obviously, because then he gets to race, and he's leading the championship there right now. And it doesn't feel good to win a championship because you got shut down and nobody else had a chance to race. They put big prizes down there, and I just don't understand why they don't have more support. Unfortunately, guys, we gotta start supporting tracks. Like, we all like racing. That's why we go out every day, working on the cars every single day. And yeah. Even if I don't race, I try to be at the racetrack every weekend, or sometimes 2, 3 times a weekend. When I hit holidays, it'll probably be one track Friday, one track Saturday, maybe a track Sunday, and that'll be my holidays. And Monday I'll sleep if there's time. Um, but yeah, some of these big playoff races are selling lap sponsors. The bone stock for ours is $20, 30 for the minis, 40 for the super stocks, and 50s for the late models. If you want to sponsor the class, you can contact me or Peterborough Speedway. Other people are doing this, such as the Junior Hanley Classic at Sunset Speedway. They're doing, I think it's $100 a lap. I think they're sold out. I'm pretty sure you could still add extra sponsorships and stuff. And then they have the Alan Lankin Memorial. Yeah. So that's, I think they're $30 a lap. I'm not sure. I've got laps in those as well. I've sponsored races at Flamborough when we were doing the COVID stuff, and like just trying to help races out. I don't have a lot of money to just keep spending, obviously, but um, I can't be the only one. I know think of this as a business. You wanted to try maybe doing some advertising and racing. Here's $20 a way to invest. That will be going direct to the driver. I'm doing social media posts. The track's going to probably end up doing some social media posts. I'm going to try to talk about maybe posting some banners or etc. Or even including with the info packet of who sponsored what lap and etc. It's just like a printout page that can be stapled to the back of the competitor's package. You're going to get probably announced once or twice if we can in the race. Charlie Smith, sorry, not Charlie Smith. God damn it. I just looked at the neon 2 seconds ago. Charlie Toner and Brendan Doherty are some of the best at getting the most amount of sponsors in while they're announcing. And the two of these guys up in the booth have run colors the last couple of years. I may see if I can try to sneak up there. I'm talking about even possibly working the colors if they need the help. I'm not going to be racing this year. I'm going to be as soon as September 3rd comes along. I'm going to, if I haven't sold the mini stock, I'm going to Sunset to run an Alan Lincoln Memorial. I didn't personally know Alan that well. We met a few times at Sunset. We shook hands. He came and talked, got some backstories and stuff before he was doing the announcing. Seemed like a pretty down to earth, highly passionate about racing guy. And yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to definitely dearly miss him. I know Danny Benedict did the missing man formation during the APC race there. What else is there? Yeah, I'm watching Flamborough cancel a lot of things lately. And unfortunately, guys, we gotta support these tracks before they go out. Like, John Caselli has owned that track for 50 years. And eventually you have to stop dumping money into it. It's a business, and if we're not supporting something we love doing, that these people are giving us a chance to run and still paying, it's going to be rentals only. Like, you have to pay to play, and that's it. You don't get no payouts. It'll be like road courses. And we need to pack the stands. I want to see all invitationals this year packed. And I'll probably try to do something for Flamborough for maybe some like crowd stuff to try to pack the crowd or something like that. But I know Mike Smith They're from London Recreational Racing. Wow, my English is horrible today. Always tries his best to get drivers out there. He's dumped thousands of his own dollars into that. And maybe it's not the drivers that should be getting it. If we're not supporting big events that they're putting their hard-earned money into to try to help us race, and the biggest thing we'll always complain about as drivers is, oh, we're not getting enough pay. We're not getting enough pay. They put a big dollar amount out there. Yes, mostly if it goes to the winner, but we all show up wanting to win the race. Some of us realize it's less likely than others. Like, I don't expect to go win the feature in my superstock or the mini every week. Do I try to? Yes. Do I expect it? No. So yeah, they put some big money out and didn't get the support they wanted, and now they're scaling back on it. So does maybe Mike, instead of putting the money where he would to the drivers, is maybe put it towards the fans? And if he says, say he spends 10 grand at Frostfest normally. I don't know the number, and I don't need to know the number, but I'm just using 10 grand as a round finger. Say he takes that out of the driver's pockets. Now, if spends with John, says, all right, we'll do $10,000, but let's knock the price of admission down to $5 a person on a regular night. And he'll top up $10,000 or up to $10,000, let's say, for doing that. So say it's $15 a head. So they get 1,000 people in there. That would pay off. Then they could find hopefully maybe find some other sponsors that would do that. And then more fans come in, then John could still pay more the drivers a little bit more money for having the fans in the stand, because fans in the stands means that there's money coming in for the track. That's how they make money. That's how they stay afloat. Also means that they're selling concessions, stickers, food, and all the other stuff. So maybe they need to try something like what JP does at Peterborough Speedway with the double tuning nights, and it seems to always be good, and it helps pack the track for the rest of the year, because once you get people hooked, they come back, and it's just, I don't know personally what else to do. I'm not a promoter. I've never been a promoter, and I don't understand the job of being a promoter. Is it like I said last time, is it time to maybe move to Sunday so they're the only ones there, so you can have people that want to race every day of the weekend? They can do Friday Delaware, they can do Saturday at Peterborough, Sunset, etc. like that, and Sunday is Flamborough. But yeah, that's going to end my rant for tonight. I want to thank all the sponsors that have already come on board. We still have a couple months to go before Autumn Colors. I'm going to try to get everything filled. I hope I can get everything full. It'd be really nice to help all these drivers out. I think it's going to be something like, if everything sells, at all the laps sell is $13,000 going into drivers' pockets. And I can tell you guys, if I can't get it sold, well, I shouldn't say it, if I can't get it sold, but if I sell everything and we get a supreme lack of driver support for this stuff, or if you win an award and you don't give them a little bit of a thank you or something like that, you can, like, it takes 2 seconds to put a post on social media thanking somebody for adding to your purse and stuff like that. Yes, we're doing low amounts, but we're trying to add it up into a bigger payout for all classes. I know it might not make or break your day getting an extra 20, 40, $50. But for some drivers, that extra $50 would cover their weekend, cover the gas in their cars. So if you could take the time for the people that have put their hard-earned money up to help sponsor this great event we have called Autumn Colors, take 2 seconds to be like, hey, thanks, I got the lap award from yada yada. For you can even put down for being in 13th place on lap 13, or for if there's like a hard luck award, or et cetera, et cetera. It takes 2 seconds. You can even do it in your post race right up by how your race went. Thank your sponsors, and then you can even did just a little footnote. Thanks to this person for sponsoring the race. As drivers, we got to be mindful of people that are helping us out. Otherwise, some of these sponsors could be using this as a test to see, what do I get for $20? What do I get for $100? What do I get for $500? Some drivers won't take $100 sponsorship. I'll take it all day long. I just change the size of the sticker. For $100, you get a certain size sticker on the mini stock. For $5,000, you get a certain size sticker on something else. Like, you know what I mean? So it's all in perspective for how much you feel comfortable spending with your business. I've always tried to work with small businesses. During COVID, I did a $1 small business promotion where the person gave me their logo and $1. Just so it wasn't free. It was $1. I would put your logo on the car, and I had a few businesses that did it, and they enjoyed the promotion I gave them. A couple of them still once in a while they'll sponsor my car when their business can afford it. But other than that, I'm going to wish you guys a good afternoon. Thank you for listening, and hope you enjoyed episode 14. And like I said, next week our guest is Ollie Ferguson from the Ontario Sportsman Series. Yes, I know I changed hats like 2 times the way this is recorded, but I recorded my intro and outro on a different night than I recorded with Clayton. So, no camera magic here where I'm doing like 700 hat shuffles like we're in Victory Lane. But yeah, have yourselves a great afternoon. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next week.